Welcome to the Mom Code Podcast. We say it so you don't have to. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Ashley.
And this is Christina. Welcome her to the episode. I'm so happy to be back.
100%.
We missed you guys. Yeah, Happy New Year.
We're back.
All.
Yep.
And we have a special guest today. So, Christina, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I was trying to think. I don't even remember meeting you. That's how long I've known you.
Daycare.
But I don't even remember meeting you.
No, yeah, same.
But I vividly remember the first time I went to your house. Do you remember?
No.
We were like 3. But you said to me straight off, "Are you afraid of dogs?" And I said no. And you had Brittany.
I remember.
And she jumped on me, and I got like just a little, and you got so mad at me because you thought I lied to you.
I'm sorry.
And then, I just remember that comes back to like, it'll come circle back about like my issues with like disappointing people and like that wound that I've had to heal.
Did I do that to you?
No.
I'm so sorry.
But that's, 34 years.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And when you started doing this, I got really excited, and I said, "Hey, what's going on?" And you've always been that kind of a friend that, like, Danielle and I, we went to school together all through high school.
Grammar school, high school,
high school, daycare.
Yep.
And then, our paths would diverge, but you've always been that kind of a friend that, like, I know, and I hope you feel the same way, that if you called me and you needed me, I would be there.
Oh, yeah, 1,000%.
Because,
yes.
we're busy with our own lives, but
Yes.
the connection is just
Yes.
very palpable.
Yes, I feel that way. Absolutely.
So I said, "Hey, would you like me to come on?" And you said yes, and here I am.
Thank you for asking.
Awesome.
So
Well, let's dive into it. You're a mom.
I'm a mom. I'm also a girl mom.
Girl moms unite.
Estrogen in this room. I have 2 daughters, similar ages, 5 and 3. Maddie is on the spectrum, so it's like adds a little extra fun to the bunch, and Ellie's just a whole vibe.
How has that been for you?
It's great. It's not easy, and like the thing comes to mind that people say it all the time. It's like that quote, just because you carry it well doesn't mean it's not heavy.
Right.
Like
Very true.
you learn patience. You learn certain fights are not worth fighting, and you have to, we'll touch on this today. It was like meeting your child where you're at, like how to work on their emotional needs. I think a lot of us in this like millennial generation, we did not learn from our parents how to handle our emotions because they did not know how to handle their emotions. And now we're in this age of teaching emotional intelligence, and we have to learn it first.
Right.
So how do you teach emotional intelligence if you can't do that for yourself? So there's a lot of healing that really needs to take place for you to really consciously parent, I think. And astrology is a great tool for that. So
how does Ellie handle all of it? Because I like Charlie and Frankie fight now over like silly things. I couldn't imagine. Well, how is their communication with each other? And
Maddie, I like to semi-verbal. So she can speak. She does most of her speech through scripting. So she'll act out scenes, that sort of thing. It's not a really, like if you ask her a straight question, you're not always going to get a reliable answer. So that can be a challenge, and that's like a fear in my head. Luckily, we live in a pretty rural area, but like, so she's practiced like, what's your name? Where do you go to school? Where do you live? But like, it's still like she couldn't tell someone, my mother's name is this. Like, this is her phone number. That is a real fear of mine.
Okay.
So that's something I deal with. But Ellie is just obsessed with her sister. She thinks she's the coolest.
Yeah.
They do everything together. They sleep together. They'll fall asleep in, like, Maddie has like a double bed, and they'll fall asleep in there, and then they'll come into our room. Like, they just do everything together. And
That's sweet.
now Maddie is in kindergarten, so and because of her IEP, she takes the bus that comes to the house, and Ellie gets so like I want to do it too.
Yeah.
Like, she wants to do everything with her.
Yeah.
And Maddie, we used to say, like, for the first year, like, she tolerated her at best, but she was still, she was 2, still going through a lot. So, but yeah, they are 2 peas in a pod.
That's awesome.
It's
That's
awesome.
really great.
Yeah.
So special. So how did you end up here doing what you're doing right now?
Crazy.
Because the last time I saw you, you were working at a dentist office.
Yes. So majority of my working life, I worked in dentistry. I was a dental assistant, very good at it. I've been always the kind of person that like, it sounds kind of like gloaty, but like I can kind of like, I could see myself in any job.
Yeah, you got me my first job. At a pizzeria, yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah, but I only lasted a day there.
Yeah.
But you were really good at it.
I was good at it, yeah. But I was terrible when I first started, but I stuck to it and I just kept showing up, and that's all you can do. And then I owned the place practically. But so, yeah, when we were kids, I was very artistic, into the arts. Could have sworn I was, I have had visions of moving out to California, pursuing acting, but I met my husband freshman year of college. He's very grounded, very practical, and I knew it was like kind of like a soul recognition type of thing. So I knew I wanted to be with him. So I kind of pivoted. And it's like, okay, yeah, I need to stay here.
Yeah.
So, and I had plans. I had an interview all set up I was gonna work for audition to be like a Disney princess. In Florida, yeah, that was the plan. Yeah,
I looked up what I would qualify for, and it was Captain Hook.
Stop!
I really want to drive the buses at Disney.
Yes,
friendly.
their bus drivers are the nicest,
They
but I
are.
could never drive a bus. I can barely drive an SUV.
Yeah.
So it's not my thing. So my aunt worked for a dental office, and I was like, hey, let me shadow. Went through a clinical program, loved it, made great friends that I'm still close with now. But yeah, like the traditional like college thing was never really my vibe.
Same.
As much as it's funny too, because like I love learning, love it. My husband has 2 master's degrees, but he says all the time, like, you're way smarter than me. Like, but he's just more disciplined. Like,
well, you always were very like common sense, street smart. You always were like that.
Yeah, I guess. Sometimes it's hard to see yourself that way, but yeah, I have a knack for figuring things out and connecting the dots, which is kind of will tie back to astrology as well. But loved my job, never planned on becoming a stay-at-home mom. April 2020, I'm giving birth to my first child, and I think I went back for 2 months because my husband was teaching from home, but he had to go back to the classroom, and you couldn't get into a daycare if you wanted to.
No, right.
You could not.
So I left for a few years. Then, like, I would watch kids from my house, which I loved. But, that getting out of the workplace and being home showed me, like, that there were some mental health issues that were being suppressed, because working in a high-paced environment, it's very much like, here's the problem, I'm going to solve it. I'm not good at, like, long-term planning. I'm more of a reactive person.
Me too.
So I struggle being home, like, with, okay, I need to get up and do this and that, because it's like, what happens if I don't do it? Nothing.
Right.
Okay, I'm not going to do it. And as we'll get more into Maddie, like, once she got her diagnosis, I learned more about neurodivergence and realized that I have ADHD. I was diagnosed at 34. So that was a big weight off my shoulder in a way. It's like, you're not broken, it's just your brain.
Right.
So then I started, after I had Ellie, went on like a health journey, ended up losing, because I was like eating for dopamine, so I'd gained a lot of weight. Lost about 100 pounds since having Ellie. And so in taking care of my body, started to get into therapy, reading psychology books. Like, I'm not a fiction person. Like, I don't like watch reality TV. If I'm watching anything, it's a documentary. Like, I'm just a weirdo like that. So I just like to learn. So in that you start to ask questions to yourself. Like, and I could live in my head all day and just like talk to myself.
I do.
Yeah.
I think most women do.
I think a lot of women do.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's true.
I don't even know what's in
when I asked Johnny what's going on in his head, he's like, nothing. I'm like, I have full conversations.
I think Tommy,
with myself.
my husband, I think he like relives Giants games in his head. Like,
That's it.
That's it.
They're all the same.
So then, and then before we knew Maddie had autism, we were just treating it as a speech delay. She was going to be almost 2. I was like 8 months pregnant. I'm like, oh shit, we haven't really had much growth in the speech department in a while, but I'm like deathly sick, you know, I'm pregnant, just trying to survive. And so we got her into early intervention. I didn't know anything about autism.
Right.
Nothing. And so, like, the therapist would mention it, like, okay, you should get her on the list, whatever, because the list can be very long.
For developmental pediatricians?
Yeah. Yes. So my hack, if anyone's trying to do that, is just to call them every day and ask them for a cancellation.
That's the way to do it. That's the only way.
You have to be the squeaky wheel.
Yeah. Can we get better at this? Like, what are we
doing?
So there's just
hard.
not enough care out there for all these kids. And it's like not like it's a newer thing, but it's always been around, but there's just more awareness now.
Right.
Like, and there's more systems in place to catch it. So things like 20 years ago, people that like probably should have had it got missed.
Right.
And especially in girls, because there's a prejudice that girls aren't neurodivergent, but we are.
Right.
So in going through that, when we were just kind of treating it as a speech delay, you know, doing all the right things, everything medically, I started to do some research, and I was like, you know, we're doing everything like in the 3D typical medical thing. What else could be going on? Like, let's get weird here. So we started looking at aromatherapy, like sound healing. I got really into crystals, and that was kind of like my gateway drug. And I'm going to shout out my crystal lady, Aries Moon Crystals, because she just welcomed me with so much love and judgment and was so helpful. So I was like, okay, we're going to work on her throat chakra. Maybe there's an issue there. And so I started buying her blue crystals, and we were keeping them around, doing weird stuff. And
it's not weird.
It's
amazing.
It's weird.
Everything is energy related.
Everything. We are all made of energy.
Yes.
We are all literally, myself, my body, this chair, this table, we are all made of atoms, and we're all vibrating at a certain frequency.
Yeah.
It's just a fact.
Yes.
So yeah, and I've gotten really into like the intersection of spirituality and science, because so much of the science is coming out that's just like proving all the stuff mystics have been saying for thousands of years. It's crazy. So yeah, found my crystal lady. She would have these workshops, and I would just keep going. And then I went through some weird personal stuff. My husband and I ended up separating about 1.5 years ago. Having girls, like, we know that they will mirror our relationships. Yes. And my husband he wasn't looking at his own mental health. He would get defensive, like, oh, he has a lot of childhood trauma that was never addressed. So I would ask, I really think you should go to therapy, this and that. And he wasn't listening to me. And I would be like, hey, like, imagine these things that you're saying to me. Imagine if someone was saying that to your daughter. How would you make that? How would that make you feel?
Right.
And he really didn't have a response. And he thought it was like, that's crazy. It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So eventually I asked and I asked and I asked, and I left.
Yeah.
And that was the catalyst for him. Some people, they just walk away. That was his like big moment. Like, oh my God.
Like, oh fuck.
This is your family.
Yep. Yeah. So he went and he did the work, and
good for him.
For you. Yeah. I'm so thankful, because I was so like okay, I have to walk away because I can't let them relive this patterns. It's not okay. So we got into couples therapy, and then like by our 4th session, like, he had just won me over, and so we were only separated for about 2 months. It was a very long 2 months.
I'm glad to see that.
I'm
you
so
guys are
happy.
back
Yeah,
together.
and
Me
we're
too.
just still in couples therapy, because you're never done, and but we're very happy. It's marriage.
There's work. It's work.
Yeah, but you have to just make that choice every day.
Yeah.
That it's us against them.
Yeah.
It's us against the kids. We're a team.
Yeah.
So I go on tangents, so
That's okay.
I kind of forgot where I was.
You are into your crystals.
Get here? Yeah.
So yes, I was taking a lot of courses with my crystal lady. Got into more tarot first, reading tarot. I did bring a deck. We can look at it later. And so that became like my first like modality. And when I was separated, I guess the biggest catalyst was I started to like trust my intuition more. We all have it. We all have psychic gifts. It's just some are stronger than others. Like for me, it's like claircognizance, which is just like I'll just get something in my head and like you'll just know that that's just a fact.
I have to ask you though, how do you like differentiate anxiety and intuition? Because
it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Meditation.
I'm not good at that.
I was not good at it for a very long time either. And one thing that helped me, because again, ADHD, I have trouble turning off my brain.
Me too.
So I've learned, like, I need complete silence. I listen to binaural beats. They help. I have to use noise canceling headphones. I usually wear an eye mask, like very much like 11 Stranger Things. Yeah. Like that's what I look like at home when I'm trying to meditate. So like, middle of the night too. If you like ever wake up in the middle of the night, the veil is pretty thin around that time. So you can have a clearer meditation. But once it was explained to me by experts that if it pops into your head when you're meditating, that's a message.
Okay.
Like that's just try to not force a train of thought, and just like you can just lay there and just like you can think about certain things, but just let the things come to you. And if a thought pops into your head, it's significant.
Okay.
So that's how it's been explained to me. Even in conversation, like I'll get like a little, people call them downloads, whatever. Like I'll get like a movie quote or a song lyric in my head. I'm like, I need to say that right now. And I'll just say, and once you learn to say it, just let it out instead of holding it in, you'll get more of them.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. It's very much just about keeping yourself open to those things. So I was going to see my crystal lady. She was doing a tarot reading for me. I saw she had a workshop. I didn't even look what it was. I just said, just sign me up. I'm gonna come to that one. I get there, instantly intimidated. Everyone there is like a very serious witch, like legitimate practicing witch. I've always been interested. You too. I know we've always been into like weird stuff, and like growing up, the 90s, the craft, all that stuff. Like it just lights our fire. You know, the Sanderson sisters. Love. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm super intimidated. Everyone there is a witch. It's a class about the dark goddesses. I don't know anything about that, but I like history. Okay. And I paid for the class, so I'm going to stay.
Yeah.
So it's all about kind of dark goddesses. We did a group meditation. I had a vision, and Persephone came to me.
Who's that?
Persephone in Greek, very into Greek mythology. So I work with a lot of the Greek pantheon. So in Greek mythology, her mother was Ceres in Roman, Demeter in Greek, and she was kind of stolen by Hades. He took her as his bride, and it's a long myth.
I'll look it up.
But she is the goddess of spring and also the queen of the underworld. So she's Hades' bride, but then half of the year she's up here and she ushers in spring for us.
Okay.
So she's very much about duality, and because her role as the queen of the underworld is very connected to shadow work, which is like your inner child work, facing the things that you don't like about yourself, that you try not to think about. You have to face them eventually, and she helps you with that. So she came to me at the right time because I needed to work on that. But I was like, okay. I left the class. I'm like, okay, that's weird. So give me a sign. I have to know it's from you, and I will take this seriously. So at the time I was working part-time at a store, and I go in the next day, and one of her big signs is pomegranates, and there were like pomegranates everywhere. I'd never seen pomegranates in the store, and like there was a huge display. That's the first section I had to go to that day. It's like
chills.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean it. So I started to meditate to her. Since then I've shifted to some other deities, but there's something very powerful about like goddess work. And I've always been into polytheism. We grew up Catholic. We went to Catholic school. Like it never quite sat right with me, the whole like anti-women and control stuff. And like just like the further I leaned into like learning more modalities and stuff, just the happier I got.
Awesome.
And finally, I had taken maybe like a year ago, I took an astrology for moms class at my little crystal shop, and we can link the woman down below, Tori Soval. She just gave me a great tarot reading yesterday. So she was the person that finally made it click for me. Because if you look at a natal chart and you don't know what you're doing,
right,
it is incredibly intimidating. There's so much information. It's very analytical, but it's also very much up to interpretation. So you could have 2 readings from 2 different astrologers and have very different contexts come up. So she helped me break it down into like the elements, because every sign is associated with an element. So once I was able to do that, and I was just be able to take it in smaller chunks, it came much more naturally. And I stopped second guessing myself and just look at the things, look at the theme, and then just connect the dots. What does that mean to you?
Okay.
You know, and then, you know,
excited.
you could, you know, I could bring things up to you, but only you know what it's going to mean, because you're the only, you know,
right.
It's you.
Right.
So.
Do you want to do ours now?
Yeah, so
let's get into it.
Let's see. So how I use it. So like I also do, so like I said, I also do tarot, and I've kind of gotten into like using this as like a life coaching tool. Mm-hmm. So we look at the chart, and I find when I have someone's chart in front of me, I can feel very energetically connected to them. So I can get like a pretty clear tarot reading and feel some clarity. But I find, especially the big thing to use it for, in my opinion, like, you know, like there's like pop astrology and like all that, like horoscopes. I don't think of horoscopes. Like, it's not a crystal ball.
Right.
This is just, it's a way to know yourself better.
Okay.
And think about the one quote that comes to me all the time is, you can only meet people as deeply as you've met yourself. Mm-hmm. So if you want to have deep, authentic relationships, you need to meet yourself deeply.
Yeah.
And that can be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I
think I'm scared of that. I think I might cry today.
Yeah.
I didn't go too deep. Like some of the stuff we may go through privately, because some of it is very
we don't
deep.
We don't have to. For me.
Okay.
If you,
okay.
We're good.
It can bring up some uncomfortable wounds. So
let's do it.
Okay.
Jump in.
So.
Oh my God. I have
me too.
chills.
So Danielle.
Okay.
So first thing I've noticed, everyone pretty much knows their sun sign, right?
Actually, I don't know my sun's
You're
sign.
an Aquarius.
Oh, just kidding. I didn't know that's what it was called.
So if ever heard anyone ask someone, like, what's your big 3? And you're like, what the fuck is that? Your big 3, your sun, which is like, most people know that's like what's just dictated by your birthday. That's like very much the tip of the iceberg. Like, I'm a Gemini. And, you know, for me, I have a lot of Gemini energy in my chart, so it's pretty amplified, but I've always identified like as it, but you'll meet other Geminis or people with birthdays close to you, and like we are so different. Like, right. How can we be the same sign? Because the sun is like just like the tip of the iceberg. It's like the appetizer. Your moon sign, and I find a lot of women especially are more connected to their moon signs, is because we are ruled by the moon. Mm-hmm. You know, think about, you know, our cycles and stuff. Yeah. That's your inner self, how you process emotions. So that's why, it'll come back to why it's so important to know what your child's moon sign is, how you use your intuitive gifts, and how you process feelings. So that's really important to know, because if you kind of ignore that, that can become a problem for you later on. And then your rising sign. So that's kind of like, I've heard many interpretations of that, but I like your higher self, like who you want to be.
Okay.
And it's also like the first impression people get of you. Okay. So your big 3, Danielle, you are an Aquarius. That's an air sign, and it is fixed. That is very much like you go to the beat of your own drum.
Yeah.
That's, you know, it's, you don't like to be told what to do.
Never.
You, air signs in general are very much in the head. So I think it could be somewhere your anxiety comes from. And so, but like Maddie has an Aquarian moon. So I see that with her, like very intelligent, innovative, but let me do things my own way. Mm-hmm. Your moon sign, and I have the same moon sign, so I think that's why we've had such a nice connection through our lives, is you have a Sagittarius moon, which is also very individualistic. Don't put me in a box. I'm going to do things my way. don't tell me what to do. But it's also like the traveler too, like the student of the world, loving to learn, but not necessarily in a conventional way.
Yeah.
Experience different cultures, that kind of thing. Yeah. But very enthusiastic, ambitious, but can be impulsive because that is a fire sign.
Yep. Very impulsive.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
To a fault sometimes.
That's like spot on.
And your rising sign, you're a Cancer rising. Cancers, think of their imagery as the crab, right? Kind of a hard exterior, but extremely soft and gooey inside. You're very sensitive. You do have intuitive gifts, but I think because of some other energy in your chart, you're very grounded. You have a lot of earth. Your energy is predominantly earth. Your chart has a lot of earth energy, but your rising sign also dictates your ruling planet. So Cancer, the ruling planet is the moon. So you're very connected to lunar cycles. You might notice the way certain cycles make you feel, like a new moon versus a full moon. That might be especially resonant for you. So, but yeah, you're very sensitive, gentle, and you kind of want to stay on that path. Yeah. Yeah. And like let go of some of the other stuff. Ashley, you are a Taurus. You knew that, I'm sure. Taurus has a bad rap of like, my sister's a Taurus.
Which one?
Sam.
Okay.
So like the bullheaded, because it's a fixed sign. It's not great with change all the time, but incredibly grounded. Yeah. Very, very into like, because it's an earth sign, very into like the 3D connected. You might like nice things. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe aesthetics might be very important to you. Wow. That can be something that can be that you might have to work through. Putting too much pressure there. Your moon sign is Scorpio, which I love Scorpio energy. It's so fascinating. I find it fascinating because it's deep. It's water energy, but there's that darkness to it. Yeah. And like, there's some secrets there. Like, it's like very mysterious. Oh. Okay. So you are very emotional. You feel deeply, but I don't think you always feel safe to share fully what you're feeling. So that can be something for you. And also, because then your rising sign is also Scorpio, so that's an implication of that energy. But also, I like to point out for water signs especially, just think about conceptually water as an element here on Earth. If there's a live wire in a big puddle, like all the way down there, even if you're 60 feet away and you touch that energy is coming to you. Right. So water signs, people with heavy water energy, they tend to absorb other people's bullshit, I like to say, other people's feelings, other people's energy. So you really have to make a conscious effort to like separate, like, okay, is this mine or is this someone else's? Right. And if it's not, return to sender. Because people might feel, I think a lot of water signs, people might be drawn to share with you and like give you burden of information of stuff, and it could be difficult. It might weigh heavily on you, and you have to learn to let that go. And then like for myself, I'm Gemini sun, Sag moon and rising. So that's very much, it's all mutable, which is kind of more adaptable. Air, fire, but it's all very, I like frequent change. I love options, variety is the spice of life for me. Don't put me in a box. Let me do my thing. So that's once, and then, so that's your big three. Okay. There are thousands of placements you can look at. Wow. So when you're looking at a natal chart, it'll go, your big three. So, and then the planets will get further away. So their influence is a little bit less prevalent. And then there are also slower moving planets. So you'll see like certain are kind of like generational, where like everyone born in like this 5-year period will have the same sign. But then there's the house system, which adds another layer of complicatedness. But we'll try to keep it beginner friendly here today. Sure. So other things that are really important to look at is like your Mercury, which is your communication style.
What's mine?
1 second.
I only asked because like I was just talking about this today. I had a photo shoot this morning with a therapist. And we were just like casually talking. We were talking about like I never saw a healthy marriage, and my husband never saw a healthy marriage because his father passed when he was 4. And I was like, we didn't know how to communicate with each other. So I'm just curious.
That's huge with us too.
Yeah.
Huge. So your Mercury sign is Capricorn. So I'll get into the next thing of stelliums. So if you have 3 or more placements, like in your main chart of a certain sign, that's a stellium. You have a lot of Capricorn energy. So like I said, your chart primarily is heavily earth. So that's very grounded. That's like I see that for you as like being very much like you're here to experience the earth and all its pleasures. And I get that for you. Like you want to do all the things.
All
like,
of it.
Do it all. Like I love that for you. Like have all the experiences. Feel everything. So Capricorn, it's very grounded. It's kind of like a fierce, but also like very responsible, but ambitious. Like you know, your career. You love your family and everything, but like it'll come up later with some of the other placements. Like you're meant to work. Like that's just
I don't know how
inherently in you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mercury. I didn't make notes on that one.
That's okay.
Because some of them, I'll get a lot of the things, like I'll write down and I get a lot of information through automatic writing. So then when I'm making notes, I'll be like, okay, that pops up. So sometimes on the fly, I can feel pressured to like come up with something.
Yeah, no. Do
so
how you do.
For you as an earth sign, it might be very practical. I feel like you're maybe like a little bit blunt sometimes, like
a lot of it.
Yeah, and maybe stubborn.
A lot.
Yeah, okay. Venus is how you show love, how you receive, what brings you joy. Like what interesting point is like usually it's like what you think it's cool to splurge on. And again, Venus and Capricorn, like you like nice things. You've always have.
Yeah, not material things though.
No,
like,
but you
like
did a lot when you were young.
Yeah, I like experiences. Yeah.
When you were young, you were. I mean, it's hard at that age. Like remember, like 8th grade.
Yeah,
like,
that's
like,
true.
You know, but it's a weird time of like labels and like.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
I was a brat. I was.
Mars is a really interesting one because that's. It's been explained to me. It's like if you were pushed up against a brick wall, how would you react? That's how your Mars sign represents. So it's very much like your fight or flight.
Yeah.
I also find it's how like you expel energy. Like it's like your reset button. If you need to like reset yourself, you feel out of sorts. Like how would you do that elementally? So yours is Taurus. So I think for you, if you're up against a brick wall, you fight. You don't flight.
Oh, good. That's good to know.
That's good to know.
No, and you just think you've had a lot of adversity. Like you've had some tough times, and you just
This is true.
put your head down and you do what you have to do.
This
You
is
know,
true.
like
Yes.
there are certain things you've been through that could have broken you.
Yeah.
You
Don't
know?
make me cry.
But I just these are things that like why astrology is so nice because you can really appreciate yourself for who you are instead of like with social media. People are always like, you're always comparing, like, why can't I be more like this? Why can't I be like more like that? Like, I know, like, my Sagittarian placements, I am not good with structure.
I have my period.
Oh, I get it. Trust me, I get it. I'm not good with structure, but having an autistic child, she needs structure. So that's something I'm constantly shaming myself for, and just like it's okay. It's just not who you are. Just do your best. Don't beat yourself up. Because the more you can understand yourself, you can have empathy for yourself. And it's helped me so much with like looking at my parents' charts, you know, and like I've been able to forgive them for stuff. Because again, my parents and I, we don't talk like about real things.
Right. Same.
You know?
Same.
My mom has a lot of secrets, the stuff that she holds in. And I think that manifests in a lot of her physical ailments. You know, she's always been kind of a sick woman. But it's not my place to do her work for her.
Right.
She's got to do it herself.
Right.
Wow,
this is so
things will come up and like you'll see certain themes emerge and it's just like, okay, I understand why you are the way you are. Because you ever look at someone like, why can't you be more like this? Why can't you be more like that? Why can't you do things how I asked you to?
Yeah.
It's so easy to do that, to should people to death. Like you should be doing this, that. But this is like, it's just not how you're drawn,
right.
you know? So, and I find when you look at yourself deeply this way, look at these patterns, and then you can look at other people in your life, and you'll be able to give grace more freely for yourself and others.
Yeah.
See people for who they are.
Yeah.
Appreciate yourself for who you are, and stop beating yourself up for who you're not.
Yeah.
And just be able to handle life a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy out there.
No.
So yeah, your Mars is in Taurus. Yeah.
What's Ashley?
Ashley.
It's your turn. We can come back to mine, but
yeah. Ashley.
So nervous.
Okay. Ashley, so we went over your big three.
Yeah.
Your Mercury is in Taurus.
Wait, before we continue, is it
Sure.
easier to bounce back and forth from each one, or is it easier to do it all at one time? I don't want to screw you up.
I don't know. I just go with the flow.
Okay,
yeah.
that's fine. I don't want to like mess up your
No,
energy.
that's fine. I'm gonna match your pace. So
You feel my nervous energy?
your Mercury is in Taurus, so that I think you might be kind of a blunt communicator. Do you like say things and like, I probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. So, I mean, and again, like these are how it's been explained to me. A lot of these, like your big three and like some of, like I think up and through Venus is like the main course. Some of the further planets are like the side dishes. And then as we get into like asteroids and stuff, that's like the seasoning.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's major themes and like, but how things are positioned across from each other and like next to each other changes things. And it's very intuitive. It's very much, like I said, up to interpretation. So like we could maybe 3 days later, you could be like, you might get a revelation like, oh, I think I get that now.
Right,
like,
right.
So that's why it's fun reading someone that you know, because like I can get more intuitive, use my brain more. It's like, okay, yeah, like I know you, so I can connect those dots. But when you don't know someone,
right.
it's more energetic. So
right.
it can be interesting.
Feel my energy.
Yeah. So your Venus, okay, this might where we get a little spicy. Your Venus is in Aries, which is intense fire energy.
Okay.
So I think you probably like love hard, impulsive that way.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm gonna get a PG rating, but I feel like you are a very sexual person.
Okay.
And then when I looked at your husband's chart too, like I feel like that's a big part of your
That's why
connection.
they have 3 kids, ladies and gentlemen.
So there's a deep sexual connection there.
Good for you guys.
Yeah. So yeah, Aries energy is intense. It's bold. Takes action.
My mom watches this.
That's fine. Like she doesn't know. She
I mean,
probably has
she's
it
a
too.
grandma, you know. They figure
Where do you
it
think
out
you got it from?
I know. You're right. Whew.
So that I found very fun and interesting. Your Mars sign is in Gemini. So I think if you were stuck between a rock and a hard place, you're going to get like, okay, how can I plan my way out of this?
Yeah.
How can I talk my way out of this?
Mm-hmm.
How can I charm my way out of this kind of weird situation? Like, yeah, so it's very intellectual. If you were stuck in a tough situation, you're going to like hunker down, like, okay, I need to figure this out.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Let's get a plan going. And then you could use like your charm a little bit to kind of soften things and get your way a little bit in that manner.
I do that.
Jupiter is kind of like your luck planet.
Okay.
So it's where you're kind of lucky in life, your abundance and stuff. So that is also in Aries, a fire sign. So I think for you, that might mean that, yeah, like when you are being impulsive and just like being yourself, not holding back, that's when things fall into place for you a little bit. Like when when you're not shooting yourself to death.
Right.
If you just like, I feel this is what I have to do and I'm going to do it. No apologies. Like, don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness, that kind of a thing. Like, I'm going to do
That
my
is
thing.
so you, Ashley.
Okay.
Is
yeah.
Yeah.
Saturn can be interesting. Or Saturn return. So, yeah, everything has like a certain, like we know, a sun, the rotation is 365 days, with the leap year for extra spice.
Wait, to go around the Earth?
Yeah.
Never
Why do
mind.
you? Oh man, Danielle, come on. Yes.
Wait a second.
So that's why your birthday is called your solar return.
Oh, because the sun went around.
Yes. The sun will be in the same point in the sky as when you were
I
born.
can't be the only one who didn't know that.
That's something I did know.
It's probably some stuff that just people just don't think about.
Yeah, I think I did know
You
that.
know, but
Yeah.
it's not something you think about.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but again, like this is the stuff that I just think about all the time. Like
Interesting.
crazy.
Wow.
So, but certain other planets, like they take a very long time to make a full rotation. So Saturn takes about 28 to like 31 years.
That's why they say a trip around the sun when it's your birthday.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there it is.
Yes.
Okay.
So with your Saturn return, that's like your big life lesson. And so if any of you can think of to like when you were like 29, 30, that's like a big change. And you probably had a big life hurdle or lesson come around at that time. I mean, and your sign can have something to do with it. So let's say we're looking at Ashley. Your Saturn return is in Sagittarius. So maybe for you, something about travel, like having an impulse to travel more or be more free, less structured, like break those shackles. I mean, sometimes you have to like really think back.
I got married.
Oh, yeah, that's a big change.
Yeah.
That's a big change.
Yeah.
You know, you're changing everything about
Yeah.
the way you operate. And now, Daniel, I'm going to switch back to you. Your Saturn is in Capricorn, another Capricorn thing. So, yeah, like maybe for you and like Earth energy too, it's like sometimes you have to like literally like get out into nature. It's like oh, I need to get outside more. Like something like could have been something as simple as that. But there are other themes as well. Like I have to use my cheat sheet because it's just a lot of information. Okay, so maybe like around that time, okay, I need to be more responsible, like be more serious with my finances, like have something happen that's kind of like a catalyst for that. So that's usually what happens in your Saturn return. Some kind of like big like kind of like a tower moment type of thing. Like they use that term in tarot because the card, the tower, means like a big change, big and sudden change. And then, like there's certain other placements, but I really want to get into some of the asteroids here because I think that's where it gets more interesting.
Let's do it.
Chiron or
We only have
Chiron.
15 minutes left. That was so fast.
Oh, God.
I know.
I didn't even scratch the surface.
Oh, boy.
Okay. I'll just have to come back.
Yes, please. We would love to have
Chiron, so I guess, we're going to be focusing more on the motherhood aspect and we can get to the kids another time. Chiron, that is your deepest wound. That is...
Are you talking to me?
In general.
Okay.
In general, for everyone. So, like, for me, I have a Chiron in Cancer, and that is a slower moving planet. So, or it's a dwarf planet. So that one you will look more at the house because like anyone in like a 5-year span is going to have that same one. But every house is associated with a different era of your life. So it'll show you how it kind of manifests. So me having a Chiron in Cancer, and you might feel similarly, is like I have that I've worked through tremendous fear of abandonment. Like for me, so it could be like a childhood wound, and depending on your belief system, it could be a past life wound that you've brought into this life.
Interesting.
So fear of abandonment. And for me, I recognize that as like, like my parents divorced when I was pretty young, and then just all of a sudden dad's not there. And that is, it was difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
And I've made peace with it. I've made forgiveness, and I've learned that because of those placements, you can have a lot of people-pleasing issues. So it's like, okay, I have to do this, or they're going to leave me, or they're not going to like me anymore. Like I have a big fear of like putting myself out there, even though I have all these Gemini placements and I can talk, but I have to feel safe to do so. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people, when they first meet me, like I don't talk because like I'm like more of an observer, and I have to feel safe to open up. And like I don't like small talk. Like tell me the most difficult thing you've been through, like that kind of stuff. Let's talk about deep weird shit. I don't care about the weather.
Right.
Like so that can be difficult because a lot of people they get uncomfortable with those those kind of talks. Chiron, and then so let's see. Yours is also in Cancer, but it's in the...
While you're looking for that, do you believe that we choose these paths before we
absolutely.
even get here?
Okay, so I could talk about soul contracts all day. We choose our parents. Okay,
I always tell my kids that thank you for picking me. I always say that to them.
Everyone in your life is in your life for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I do not believe in coincidence. It is not everything. We are all connected. Everything means something. Whether we are not meant with our feeble human brains to understand, we are not meant to understand all of the vast complexities of the universe. Whatever it is, literally, we could not comprehend it. So we get these glimpses, and like I like to use astrology. Like if you're a gamer, it's like a cheat code, like just a window into the areas of your life to kind of do the work faster. But I lost my train of thought there. ADHD.
It's okay that we pick it.
Yeah. So, when my grandfather was dying this past year, I got really into looking into past lives. I found it incredibly comforting. Book that I read, Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton, changed my life. It's literally just transcripts of past life the sessions. And I found it so comforting. So he's like, he would get these people in this past life, like, okay, let's rewind. Let's go fast forward to the end. What happened then? And you're getting full play-by-plays of, like, they call it an LBL, life between lives, of what happens when we die. And that in between of, like, preparing for the next one. We have these karmic themes. If you don't get through something that you need to, that is on your path to work through in this incarnation, guess what? Next time you're going to have to come back again and work on it again because you didn't learn the lesson.
Wow.
So there's more.
There's more.
Wow.
There is so much more. It's just the tip of the iceberg. It's fascinating. So we pick our parents. Honestly, your parents in other lifetimes, you've probably had other lifetimes with them in other roles. Best friend, you could have been the parent. But we see those kind of energetic ties time and again. Often like your partner, like they may have been your partner in another life, or like kind of like a fated encounter, like Romeo and Juliet type thing, fated lovers. But yeah, and I think about that all the time. Like the moment I met my husband, we were in freshman seminar in college. He walked in and it was just like, there's something there.
Yeah.
And he didn't notice me first. I made the first move. And yeah, I just knew that there was a connection. And I've always been like, kind of like a serial monogamous, like before then, like, I mean, I was 18, I was super young. Not many relationship experiences, but I would get bored, and like I would be and I guess probably because of that fear of abandonment, I would always be the one to break it off, to like, okay, it's time for something new.
Before they decided that they were done.
So, but my husband and I, we've been together for almost 18 years, and aside from that 2 months, it was the most difficult 2 months of our lives.
I'm sure, but it needed to happen.
It did, it did,
for you
and
to
like
grow.
certain things, and then during that time, so I moved in with my dad, who I hadn't lived with since I was a child.
Was it kind of nice?
It was really my dad's a difficult guy. Knowing what I know now about like autism, and like I can see it, like my dad might be on the spectrum, like looking at it now with a different lens. He literally goes around the house and just stims all day long.
Interesting.
Like he'll just go and like do a drum riff and like go pick up his guitar. Like there's just no rhyme or reason.
He's never like settled.
No, he doesn't know how to. But during that time I was living there, my dad got a cancer diagnosis. So I think it was really important that I was there for that, being able to be his support system. The relationship with the kids wasn't always like great, because he kind of like, he likes to do things on his terms. With kids, like I'm not forcing them into situations that aren't natural for them.
Right.
So like he wouldn't want to come over to our house. We always had to bring him to them and like do things his way, and like my kids are like, no.
Right.
So he got to build a nice relationship with them, and it definitely, there was a lot of events that were very much, I needed to be there at that time. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Everyone you meet has a lesson to teach you. Every, friend, you probably, you and I probably have been friends in other lifetimes. Like that's why there's just like that comfort and familiarity there. yeah, it's really interesting.
It's so interesting. We have like 10 minutes left. Is there anything you want to share with us about our charts before we
please
head
Let me
out?
check
Give me
my
something.
notes here.
Like the big thing.
Okay.
Yeah, give me a big one.
Big thing I want to touch upon for us is that are fun to look at because I found they were pretty interesting here. So in terms of other goddess asteroids. So Ceres, that is like tells you all about like your mothering style, and is also kind of like an offshoot of the moon sign as well because they're very much connected. So Danielle. And that one is, again, it's slower moving, so you're going to look more at the house system. But your Ceres is in Aries, but in the 10th house, which is all about career. Wow. So you are meant to work, but in that way of like, not because you don't love your kids, but I don't know why I said that. That was stupid. But
I know.
No, I know. But, people, they have that narrative,
I know.
and that's hard to shake off. But it's like for you, you're leading by example. You're showing them that, like, you can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Like,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's very accurate.
And you're very inspiring to your children in that way. So that's interesting. Ashley, yours is in Capricorn and in the 2nd house. So it's all about you're their stability. You're like the one that's like making sure like that they have a stable foundation, being the provider. This one might get a little bit personal. How is your relationship with your mother?
The best.
It's good?
The best.
Okay, awesome. Because it can often mean sometimes that there's like a mother wound of like she didn't mother you the way you needed, or it was maybe too strict on you and like held you back in a certain way. And that can lead to a tendency to overcompensate and like go overboard for your kids because you didn't get that. But if that's not prevalent in your chart, awesome. These are just energies. They don't.
Right.
We are influenced by life experience, external things as well. And then like for me, I'm a Taurus in Ceres in the 5th house. And again, like it's very much nurture through creativity. I'm their comfort. I'm what keeps them grounded, that kind of thing. And then I like to look at, because we're all married, Juno is like your, she's the goddess of marriage and partnerhood and like the sacred union. So when you look at your Juno sign, it could tell you kind of like your ideal partner, like what you need, like not necessarily what your brain thinks you want, but like what you need.
What you actually need. Yeah.
So for you, Danielle, we actually have the same sign, but different houses. It's you, Juno in Virgo in the 3rd house. So you need someone that's like practical, detail-oriented, grounded, but playful.
Oh, yeah. Hello.
But also can take over the role as caretaker.
Yeah.
Wow.
And is organized.
Yeah.
Johnny.
That's
and like
literally
useful.
Johnny.
Useful to you.
Johnny.
So like me as well, Virgo, like, but in the 9th house, I need someone that's very practical and organized, but also loves to learn, because that's lets me follow my intellectual pursuits without like holding me back. And also like the 9th house has a lot to do with journeys, whether it be, physical or a knowledge journey. So, but also loves to travel and to learn and like have us, like we've been on the spirituality journey together. We love. One day we'd love to do more traveling, but it's like with kids, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's hard.
And then Ashley, so yours is in Aquarius, so in the 4th house. So your 4th house is all to do with like home and family. So like you need someone that's gonna like be your home, your rock. It's very much about partnership, like best friends first, lovers next.
That is so you guys.
But someone that's like, is your husband like kind of an intellectual?
Yeah. He's so smart.
Yeah, he's super smart,
He's a doctor.
freedom and is he?
Yeah.
And freedom and commitment. So like someone that's not gonna stifle you.
No.
And like you just have that inherent trust. Like you can't have someone that's gonna be super possessive over you. Like that would not work.
He's the best.
Yeah, and the same for you. Like when I was looking at yours with Johnny, like it's very much just like like someone that you need someone that's gonna let you shine and do your thing, follow your dreams, because it wouldn't work with anything else.
Nope.
So that's like, we didn't really get to the kids.
I
We
know.
can get to that
We'll
another
have
time.
to do
but
that
it's
another time.
like,
Oh my God.
that is so just scratching the surface.
Oh my God, Christina, this is so fun.
Yeah.
So we don't have time to like dive into tarot, but I did bring a oracle deck. So if anyone doesn't know, oracle deck, it's like less...
Do we have time to like do one?
Like
quote
one,
each?
just one
5
card.
minutes.
So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I like to, it's
Please.
just kind of like, it'll set the tone
Wrap it
for
up.
the
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Of like, and it might give us a nice little message. So I brought the goddess deck because I talked about a lot of goddess oracles. So let's just go with that one. And we're just going to pull and see what goddess energy is coming forward for us today in our motherhood journeys. Oh shit, Lilith. Okay.
Wait, she was bad in True Blood.
Well, she was demonized. Like they try to make her out to be a demon. So that's all about being independent, really, and just not letting a man force his will upon you. Mm-hmm. Like how the whole myth is like she was Adam's first wife and she wanted to be on top and he wouldn't let her, so she split, and then Eve came along. So
she's like, I'll be a bottom. And
like,
okay.
So it's very much it's dominant energy. It's very it's powerful. She scares me a little bit. Very intense, but it's like, don't fuck with me. I'm going to do things my way, and I think that's the message of the episode.
I think so too.
Just to live your life authentically, and you can do that by meeting yourself through astrology.
Yeah. Wow. Where can everybody find you?
Okay, I'm the worst.
You're the best.
No, I know, but
nice about yourself.
I very much need to get my website up. So right now, if we can link in the show notes, my email, best is to email me or DM me if you want a reading. If you want just a tarot reading, just an astrology reading, I specialize in like a full life coaching package where we look at all those things and we work towards manifesting what you want in your life. So that's like kind of my specialty, but just DM me with any questions.
Perfect.
And I would love to chat about it.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I want a tarot reading.
Yeah.
Really I want to go deeper too. I want to know everything that she learned about us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to close out the episode since I opened it up?
No, I don't know what to say. I'm like,
it's okay, I'll do it. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Thank you, Christina, for being here. Mm-hmm. It was so great to see you. We appreciate all of you guys, and just make sure you follow us on Spotify and YouTube and Instagram, and we will see you on the next episode.